Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel, and I'm developer advocate for techFiesta. Welcome to the second session of the Gnosis Chain Hackathon. This is our second workshop. We had the first workshop last week. This is another workshop, and today basically want to talk about how you can move from hacking to building a startup, and how you can turn your Gnosis Chain app into a business, your innovation into a business. And I'm having Arsenii on call. You will be, I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. I hope I'm not
No, don't worry about it.
Am I correct?
Yeah, it's okay. I think you can't pronounce the last few letters correctly because it's hard for English speaker guys.
Okay. So I think I'll just go with Arsenii because I'm like linking in with Arsenal. So,
Oh, yeah. It's a little bit better than with Arsenik, yeah.
Okay, so guys, we'll be having Arsenii, taking us on this session, and it's a recorded session, so everyone have access to this recording. So Arsenii, you have the floor, and there are going to be questions. If you have questions, please make sure you use the comment section and drop in your question. And Arsenii is here to answer all of those questions. So Arsenii, you have the microphone now. You can just take the floor. Thank you very much.
Yes. So, hi guys again. So today we will go talk more about the business stuff, less about technical stuff, because about technical stuff you can find thousands of workshops, courses, etc., etc. So, and now we will be talk about something which are hidden in the developer, but in development process. So, as you know, my name is Arsenii. I develop relations in Gnosis builders. I'm in crypto since 2018, and I previously was founder of 2 startups. So for this reason, I went for all stages, which I will talk in today. So I also alumni of Alchemist Accelerator is like White Combinator, but for B2B B2B startups, and I also part of few DAOs and won a lot of hackathons. So what we're talking about? So what's a hackathon could be useful for build a project? How usually I look on the building project? It's some kind of a summary about experience of a lot of my friends and articles from YC and lectures and few books. And also we will talk how effective use a hackathon in its conclusion, and we'll try to help you convert your idea of the hackathon to the business idea. So let's start from the reason why the people in general participate in hackathon. Most of people which I met, and I was on more than 100 hackathons, third of these I won. So, and I meet a lot of people all around the world. And most of people I arrived for make some achievement to take some achievement for CV. Spoiler, it's not working. Usually HRs really don't understand what this hackathon is, how it's working about. Brings rise a reputation. This is the most important point, I think. Earn money, bounty style hunting. It's also work partially because from my expertise, when you're traveling to offline hackathon for exactly to Europe or United States, you not earn money because the trip and accommodation cost eat all your prizes. It doesn't matter how much money you won, it will be spoiling on the travel. But it's a good point if you're going as also to conference. Hackathon is partially work for creating MVP and to be ready to raise a grant or raise investigation. But it's only depends not only your technical, it's mostly depend on not your technical skills, it's more depend on your soft skills and business skills. Improve network, also very important part. Find a job. To be honest, I never find a job in the hackathons, but you can find by networks the guys who can hire you in the future, and learn new technologies. It's also work partially because the people who arrive at the conference are mostly marketing guys or developer relations guys, and they provide you basic workshops, and you still need to spend time to learn it by yourself. So you still need to learn by yourself. It's not working. So let's start. How usually what I can recommend to prepare how organize the process of creating your ideas. I use it standard white combinator one pager. As example, you can see on the right on the right of the slide. It usually consists of one-liner: problem, product, market size, revenue model, traction, team, competitors, and financing. To be success on the hackathon and to be success in raising the grant and building the project, success project will be generate not only wasting money but also revenue. You need to answer these questions and be ready to answer this question to guys who you pitch it. It's also help you to transmit your idea to other guys and attract people to your team. So let's start from one-liner. On the right part, you see the example, and let's see on this. So good one-liner consists of the problem, solution, and the results. So the problem is identification of the problem which you're trying to solve, and usually it's related with customers which are focused on to solve this problem for. The solution is usually a description how products are going to solve this problem to customer, which you mentioned on the first part. And the result is describe the success. Is usually describe what kind of goods or pain points will be solved for customer, and how, and the good if you can add mechanics how you're going to earn the money from this solving the problem. So that's example. Many people struggling with answering what they do with the clarify and confidence. So it's a description of the problem. There's a too abstract many people's, but still working. The story brand one-liner is a simple format that will help people realize why they need your product and service. The story brand is a name. Simple formula, it's a description of solution, and result that people will be realize their products and service. They need the product and service. So it's an example of this formula. Creating one-liner is really important part, because if you will watch Y Combinator videos about how to pitch your ideas to investors, they have a classical formula. It's a 30-second speech, or they also name it as elevator pitch, and also starting from one-liner. The one-liner is the first touch with your investor or customers to describe what you really do, and it should attract attention of people which you're talking with to raise interest, why they need to listen you next. So then usually going the more information about the problem. The problem could be divided to main to four types. Is financial. It's usually how what's the financial problem, or what's the kind of problem, what kind of financial goods you're going to bring to your customers. It's usually reducing cost, or help raise money, or give opportunity to raise money from some your free assets, for example. Productivity pain point. It's usually improve the time management of your customers. For example, with our solution, you will be don't waste time on the cleaning your house, for example. It's about time effectiveness. Process pain point. It's about how you're going to improve the process. It's pretty close to productivity, but more about the process itself, where is a where you involve with more people than just you. And support pain point is it's a problem, for example, when you're situated in critical situation and you need some kind of support. It could be the good example of the support pain point is a lot of startups which provide chatbots or personal assistants, etc., etc. Then we're switching to the product. Usually description of the product are strongly related to the customers. Every time you should think about who are the main customers. It could be one, it could be a few. It also should connect it to the problem, and but in this point you need to be focused on how you're going to solve a problem. And please do not use the technical terms. For example, we are going to use ZK for blah blah blah. Just remove the technical stuff and we focus on the solving of the description, what's the problem and how you're going to solve, or what the form for customer or for user will be. And of course, you need to be transparent to understand how you're going to earn money from this. One is a good, I can show you the bad example of this. We are creating ZK bridge as a product description. It's not transmit the value, it not transmits who the customers, it's not transmit what's the difference with the competitors, etc. But if you convert this product to, we are going to make a service which allows in permissionless and protected by ZK mathematics. ZK mathematics is useful to describe that you don't need to pull of validators. That help people to transfer money from one chain to other chain. And we focus, for example, on hedge funds. It shows that you focus on the big sums, or you are focusing on interoperability messaging. It means you will be focusing on the developers of DeFi cross-chain DeFi protocols. Market size. The few terms I don't want to spend much time on description because I'm not so good in marketing size. But this usually, if you can calculate a total addressable market, service addressable market, service or obtainable market, is a different points which can help you to understand: is it a big market? What's the part of market you're going to cover with your service, and what kind of money you need to cover this type of market. It usually help you to create hypothesis because at the stage when you create idea, you make a lot of predictions. And this type of research help you to understand how big is the market and how many people you need to attract and how to attract these people, what's the cost of attraction these people. And to really help you to build the market business model. It help you to build the business model and understand from the beginning as a good project to spend time. It's in general, or it's just a too small market. It's better to change idea a little bit, or change customers, target auditor, or something like this. So it will have to prove that this idea is big enough to earn money on this. Sorry, yeah, I put some video about the description, what is the market size. So use this as a because this guy is more professional in the market size stuff. Revenue model. Yeah, you should be transparent. It's one of the important stuff when you pitch idea on the hackathons, because most hackathons are focusing that after hackathon you're going to the sponsor expects that you will build the business, and it's important to tell people why your project will be profitable. And because if it will be not profitable, you can lose some motivation to spend time for nothing to building this project, and sponsors don't understand why they need to support you if you're not going to continue work on this project. And when in a very early stage of the project, of course, you can make a just hypothesis how you going to earn the money, but it's good to start think about this process from the beginning, because it can be important to architecture and structure of your smart contracts or processes to be ready accept the payments or other type. Because if you build, for example, effective some tools which are for free solve the problem, but you don't put any stuff how to earn money from this solving the problem. It will be bad product first of all for you, because you will not receive the money from this. It's attraction. It's more about the after hackathon stuff. It's more about how traction is usually proof that your predictions about the solution, about target auditor, about market, about the business model make sense, because attractions is only proof that shows that you was right. The traction could be different on different stage of MVP, because MVP also could be different. It could be subscribers on your Twitter, because you provide some interesting stuff, or you provide the interesting update, and people really wait when you will be released. But in this type of traction, is really hard to understand, first of all, for yourself, that your product interested or your Twitter interesting. You should be careful with this traction. It's LOI, it's letter of intent. It's really cool stuff, exactly for B2B project, to have letters of the potential customers who already know about your projects, who already want to buy your goods. It's a really it's much better than nothing. Of course, LOI is usually not every time a LOI converted to the deal, but it's much better than nothing. Daily active wallets. Oh yeah, sorry, my mistake. It's a daily active wallets. It's some kind of abstractions that when we believe that the one wallet, one user, and it's only one true characteristic which could be getting on chain from the your DeFi protocol. So, and usually when you see the statistic of the big players like 1inch or Uniswap, they show that active wallets or how many tokens staked, how many LP tokens, etc., etc. And of course turnover. Turnover, it's also not direct stuff exactly on the early stage, but it's more important the progress of the turnover. It's a going up, it's a good sign. It's a going down or not going at all, it's a bad sign. It's but important that you to show a dynamic of these parameters also. And most important stuff at the beginning is because team, because on the early stage investors are more interested in the team. So you need to show that you are able to build the projects, you're able to understand that your product are not good enough, and you make a wrong decision at the beginning, and you should show that you're ready to understand this mistake and make a pivot before that you just will be out of investor money and arrive to new grants. So you should show that you what's the way how to show it. First of all, you need be a team which have worked together for some times. So it's minimum one guys from your team should be expert in area where you're building a business. You also need to all expertise which required for this type of project. And it's very cool if you have some guys who already have success exit from the previous startups. These points are usually give advantage compared with the same team with the same product in the pitching to investors. And in crypto, people really afraid to put the real photos to the pitch decks, and but we still humans, we still believe only in people which we meet in person. I have a lot of examples when we have a call and then meeting and then have one more call. It's produced totally much better results than we just have a calls without any handshake and physical activity. And it's much worse when we just talking with the guys on the call and don't show their face, and we didn't see these guys in presentation too. So it's really not bring the connection and brings the relations, because investor you should choose investors much careful than your wife, because wife you can change and investor not, sometimes no. Competitors. Competitors is also important stuff. It's important to show direct and indirect competitors. The classical example of this is Airbnb, not Airbnb, sorry. There's some platform for Uberization cleaning service. For example, when you can request the cleaning for your apartment in Uber style, so in the same time or a little bit in advance. They have direct competitor is a cleaning firm which you need to book in the 1 week. You need a big apartment with this. They request a lot of time for this, but the main competitor was indirect. Indirect competitor in this example is a people who clean their apartment by ourselves. So it's also important to have a direct and indirect competitors, and understand who a bigger competitor and how you're going to fight with him. Shows the difference, and sometimes are faster and cheaper. Exactly, when you have a B2B business, it's not a true competitor advantage. You should be careful with this, but if there isn't any difference, you need to show, to prove, to show or describe to your potential investor and customers how potential customers how you're going to compete, how you're going to attract the users of already existing services. And also very hard to build your own business, to build not your it's very hard to build new market like it's produced by Uber. Before Uber we haven't any aggregators of taxi, so they create a totally new market, and they spend time and money for educate people to grow this market from the beginning. And for this reason, the no competitors is usually a bad sign, because you need to be in 2 times or 3 times more experienced and with good backup by investors and experts, and very believe in your idea. Because when you don't have competitors, it usually means that the people don't need this type of service. You should be careful with this. Financing is usually last part, when you already have some prepare all other slides. You understand how many money you need to prepare the time sheet about how many money for which type of activity you need to prepare. Some investors I recommend to avoid naming round, like don't name it seed one, Series A or Series B, because it's bring a labels, it's bring a expectation of the size of the round. So some people avoid this and have a good traction about it. Don't include the terms, because sometimes it's a really flexible stuff, so there isn't any there are few best practices, but it's so flexible because as a investigation market is so more exactly on the pre-seed stage. It's really relation focused, so you can make a really different you have a really different terms compared with your competitors, with a better relation with investor or opposite. It's really good to make the investigation or milestones or money spending connect to roadmap. It's really can show that easy to show why you need this money, and that you have a plan how you're going to spend this money, that you see the risk and how you're going to manage this risk. One of the weaknesses of the lot of crypto startups, they ask money mostly for technical research, technical stuff, for developing a team, etc. I totally forgot about go-to-market and marketing stuff, or initial sales, lawyer stuff, audit stuff, etc. So it's important to include to the budgeting also this not technical stuff, also for incorporation. So how typical process of success startups looks like from my retrospective. First of all, you should make a team. You should be really good, cool professional together, which will comfortably work together. You should understand weaknesses and benefits of all two members, and how to work with these guys. I know a few teams which met on the one hackathon, and after 5 or 6 hackathon, after a year and a half, they build a strong project which are raising money. So the pro hackathon is a really good place to meet the team members to build the project in the future. Finding a problem is also not clear to developer guys, because they working only in technical stuff, and they think that, okay, I will create this tool and it will be useful for every developers, but unfortunately it's not working in this way. So you need to use researchers. It's a good idea to use already prepared research. It's a good idea to create your own research, customer developing, make interviews, talking with experts. It's one of the reasons why in team you need experts in the area who work more than 10, 15 years in the area, and he knows the pain point of this industry and understand who are the main customers. Then we'll be creating a product hypothesis. This I'm talking before. It's about this is a problem for this type of customers. These customers are ready to pay this amount of money. And these customers this number and big enough, and a lot of hypotheses. And you need to prepare the way how to check this hypothesis, and what is a successful rate. What will be successfully show this hypothesis working. It's also important stuff. So it could be solved by interview, it could be solved by surveys, it could be solved by A/B testing, it could be solving with a lot of stuff. There are in Web3 not a lot of companies who provide this type of service, so, and also painful stuff. But at the same time, it's transparent by on-chain activity, so we can use. Only after this, I recommend you to go to the hackathon, because you already have team, you have already problem, you already have hypothesis. You only need to create something technical to prove this hypothesis. And also in hackathon, you can get the first traction. First of all, you can go to the sponsor to make letter of intent. Letter of intent. You can go use hackathon participants to, for example, mint some NFTs, or make survey with or provide some other type of activity. And usually it's work really cool, because people who attract hackathons are already active, so they really like to learn something. They're really active. They're really ready to try it, and they open to any problem which they are facing during the using your beta version, for example. Then usually after, when you receive the traction, you have a hypothesis, you have, for example, this type of pitch deck. Of course, you're going to raise some money, and you've successfully raised some money, you start scaling. So you get more traction, you get more features, you get more, etc. And you start just traditional loops of the agile methodology. So what to do on the hackathon? So let's imagine that we arrive with team, or we successfully find team on the hackathon, and we find the idea. So on the hackathon, you can do market research, customer development, you can build your network of the early adopters or early users. It's a good idea to prepare a list of questions and organizers to effectively work on the venue. Create a team. If you still haven't a team, it's good to create a team to the next hackathons. Create MVP or part of the MVP, or check the hypothesis that it's impossible to implement at this point, or see that the technology have a bugs and you need to improve, and the owner of this technology need to solve the problem before you're going to create MVP. Get attraction, because during the hackathon you can build, for example, some tooling which you can definitely ask to use by users or organizers. And of course, learn something new. We're providing workshops. You ask us in the Telegrams or Discord and other channels, and we're trying to help you. And you do by your, the more important, you read something, you try something. And of course, you need to have a fun, because it's your life, and it's too boring to spend all life on some serious shit. What to do after hackathon? It doesn't matter are you will be winner or not winner. It's only have your useless achievement in your portfolio, because from my experience, it's really not help to raise the money if you just hackathon winner. Without other stuff like strong team and traction, only winning hackathon is not bring you nothing. After hackathon, you still have a group of the people which participate. You still have a connection with the sponsor and organizer. So continue make research, continue make customer development, continue talking with the people and provide updates about your project or other project or the same project which you built on the hackathon. Also use these active guys to get attraction. And of course, spend time on the prepare new hackathon, learn new features, and make everything from the list from beginning. This is all from my side at this moment. So I really open to your questions. This was really briefly, because it's very specific by startups, because it's very not discovered area. So when we every startups is like a new startups, you only can use some common stuff and ways how to trying to solve the thing you don't know.
Okay.
Hi, Arsenii. Can I say something? Thanks so much for this presentation. I just quote you here in the chat. Have fun, because it is boring to spend your life on some serious shit. It's a very good quote. That's why we're also called techFiesta. You have to have fun. Yeah, thank you so much for this presentation. It was very business oriented, I think, which is important. I know that our target audience is developers, and I know, because I've worked with developers for many years, that very often they do not really think from the business perspective when they're building, but it's extremely important to also always think about the business perspective, because nowadays it's so important to build products that are user oriented and also, of course, revenue oriented. And we should not forget about this, because in the end, the thing we're building has to have an impact on the users, and of course has to make money. Of course, if you're building a non-profit organization, fine, right? But if you want to actually build a profitable business, it's so important to think about the business side. And a very important point that you mentioned is, of course, fundraising, what investors want to see, how to show traction, and also how to analyze our competitors. I loved your example with the indirect competitors, because they can also kill you as a business, right? So you always have to think about them. So yeah, thank you so much for this presentation.
Yeah, one more highlight. So for technical guys, it's really tricky, because when we study as technical guys, we work as technical guys, we expect this will be work as a block box. So we give the same inputs and receive the same outputs. But unfortunately, in business stuff and with people, it's not working the same way. So, and it's you don't be afraid to make experiments, but you need to make correct experiments, so that you give some inputs, you track some metrics and receive the results, and make some decisions according to and make some summary according to your activity and your metrics, etc., what you make wrong, etc. So and it's still skill to make a product presentation, to think in the product way, because it's really helpful compared with traditional waterfall stuff, because you can infinity spend time on creating feature, but you need as fast as possible go to market and promote yourself and promote your traction, because until the people will touch your product, you will not receive the true vision what the people really want. So and it's take a time to transfer technical vision to the product vision.
Yeah, something about that, Arsenii, it's so true. I'm writing another quote from this is a lady, she's like a motivational speaker. I've been following her for more than 10 years, and one of her most famous quotes is launch and learn, everything is progress. So it's very important to launch your product, see how the users will react, and use their feedback to improve it. And this is what we did with techFiesta. You know, we built something minimal, we launched it, and now we see what our clients are saying, how to improve it, what our users are saying, how to improve it. So this is super important to build with your audience. Of course, from the feature perspective, but also from the business perspective. So yeah, again, launch and learn, everything is progress. Thanks again so much. And now let's open the floor for questions. So guys, you can unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can ask them in the chat. Let's see if we have questions. Because we're kind of a small audience, I hate doing this, but I would love to hear what the rest of the people here think about the presentation. So I will just call some names. Here, Jen Weatley. Do you want to speak, Jen? Do you want to say what you thought about the presentation? And if you have any questions to Arsenii or to Gnosis Chain about, yeah, building a business out of your one idea?
Yeah, I think you may want to ask someone else, because I'm actually from Gnosis Builders.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought you did a great job, though, Arsenii.
Yeah. So let's see. On top of my list is also Jerry. Is this also from Gnosis Chain or Jerry? Can you hear me?
Not yet, but who knows?
Yeah, I understood everything.
Okay, Jerry, do you have any questions?
No, I don't really have any question.
All right.
Yeah.
I think, who else do I see? Let's say Emiri. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah, you can also put your question in the chat if you have any questions. All right, I think Emiri doesn't have any questions, so I'm not gonna call any more names.
I could ask Arsenii a question, though. Given your extensive experience, Arsenii, with hackathons, what do you find is the most challenging part?
Oh, it depends on the organization. Sometimes is the most difficult part is understand how it's organized, when it will be start, what's the bounty, how to make submission. So yes, sometimes it's fighting with this stuff. But the most difficult part at the last my hackathons, it was to understand who will be judge, to understand how to build the pitch, what they expect from me, because it's more important to not go to technical details and provide the business details, and opposite if you have judges which are more technical guys, less business guys. And from my beginning, from my early days in hackathons, I fighting a lot with local developer environments. So everything which not every examples are not working on me. Some ID not working on my computer. So I fighting a lot with environment, and so I spent more. I remember the hackathon when I spent 3 days only for launch a simple Android application on emulator. So yeah, it was a Eclipse time when the Android is just appear. They started during the hackathon. Yeah. So and then so during the hackathon, because we focus more on the developing side, so I'm fighting more about this developing problem. Why it's not working? Where is the facet? Why is the Amazon don't want to give me a virtual machine with GPU, etc., etc. But as more participating in hackathon, as more was ready to use before.
Awesome,
Yeah,
thank you.
success has a question.
Yeah, let me read it out, maybe
Yeah.
because we're also recording. So I have seen individuals that want continue building products they started developing during a hackathon, and the bulk of them complain about raising funds. How can hackathon participants possibly raise funds after a hackathon?
As a traditional project. So there isn't big difference compared with raising money for the project after hackathon and without hackathon. Process is the same. You need to make some kind of investor pitch deck. You need to find investor, pitch him, and raise the money. The process is approximately the same. But during hackathon, only help you to use some kind of area of motivated guys who build project with you, is bring you a little bit competition vibe. So this is Successor Connect out. For this reason, there isn't any problem. But as you're a single developer, it's risky for investor, because it's if correct remember, it's called bus risk for startup. What will be happened if tomorrow a bus kills one of the founders? So you should be also ready to answer on this question.
Okay, so basically you mean, yeah, so what happens if one of the founders is gone with the business?
Yeah.
Like how
They have
dependent
special
is
term.
the business on this particular person? Can it survive without this person? Yeah.
Yeah. So an investor use a bus something term for this.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. All right. I have a question now about maybe, because sometimes we have sponsors that have grant programs. Does Gnosis Chain have a grant program, and what are the terms of this grant program? So who can get a grant with you?
Yeah, we have grant program. It's really not so big because we focus on the open source and social goods which are building on Gnosis Chain. At the same time, we support teams without any grants, like marketing support, some technical advices, maybe other type of help. It's usually because we are limited by capacity, because we're small team. First of all, we can't go too deep to each project. If project arrive to us and project is proactive and give us I need from you podcast with us, I need these tweets in these times, and we want to be our flyers on your booth, so we really open for this type of activity. Last month we have activity with one on-chain game, and we helped to organize a tournament about it. So it's all full Gnosis support.
Oh, very cool. And they're on Gnosis Chain?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. This is really good to know. So if someone builds on Gnosis Chain, you also support with marketing, which is extremely important because you also have a very big network, and this is extremely valuable. So
and the same. Also, we have internal fund, so we provide investigation if project are focused on Gnosis, and so we can make investigation by ourselves.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
But main idea is that it's more important for project than for us. We really want to help you, but we can't be expert in any startup, every part of market. For example, I'm more in infrastructure, technical stuff, so I'm not too good in ZK, for example. I use ZK only as a infrastructure customer, for example. But a lot of projects I build ZK stuff.
Okay, great. So any other questions from the audience? I don't see anything in the chat. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself. But I guess we have no more questions.
Yeah.
All right. In this case, Yeah.
Yeah, in any case, about the process, how to build the startups, not only in hackathon, I recommend you. There are few classical books about it. It's a lean startup and from 0 to 1. So it's two typical books. This pretty old, but most of the lectures, most of video of Y Combinator, etc., and others, other famous accelerator are use the same, broadcast the same ideas, but maybe with more details, with more advanced mechanic, with more example how to use tooling like HubSpot or something like this.
Very cool. Thank you, Arsenii. I want to remind the participants that we have 1 more week to go from the hackathon, and then it's submission time. And we're very looking forward to the projects that will come out of this hackathon. Yeah, so thanks again so much to the Gnosis team for doing this event now. And of course, for doing the hackathon. It was really great, Arsenii, to meet you in Berlin. Philip as well. I also saw Philip in Berlin. And yeah, so we'll talk soon when we're going to be announcing also the winners. Thanks everyone. And in case of any questions, we have the Telegram group, we have the Discord channel. So we're on basically these 2 platforms where you can ask us questions. Thank you.
You guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, man.
Bye. Thank you.